Hi folks, Dave with DBS Tech Talk. 400 subscribers. Wow, I never thought we'd get there in just over a year. It is crazy how fast this channel is growing. I do greatly appreciate each and every one of your subscribers, and I also appreciate each and every one that views this channel. If you are watching this and you have not yet subscribed, please feel free to hit that subscription notification and also the little bell so that you know that when each and every video is uploaded. Greatly would appreciate the support. Speaking of support, each and every one of you subscribers has been great. I really enjoy all the comments that I get and interacting with each and every one of you whenever you comment, whether it be answering a question or just discussing gear or having fun. Some of the comments have been pretty funny. Do greatly appreciate each and every one of you for that. And I appreciate that you keep it clean and that you keep it polite and friendly and nice and that you're not attacking or being rude or mean or crude. As far as all the other subscribers, I do greatly appreciate the ones that have loaned out gear and the ones that have contacted me with suggestions. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know about some of the stuff, or I wouldn't have the opportunity to hear some of the gear. So I do greatly appreciate all of that. 400 subscribers. Let's see how quickly we can get to 500, and then let's see how quickly we can get to 1,000. So a couple of weeks ago, I put a suggestion, or I put a request out for suggestions about the 400 subscriber special. Got a few responses, and a couple of them I'm not able to do at this time, just for various reasons. Streamers and balloons and decorations, I could have done that, but that's just not me. If you truly know me, I'm a very basic, simple guy, and I am not creative in the least. I'm very plain in that way. So I'm sorry if I let you down with no bells and whistles and, flashing lights and fireworks and streamers and balloons and all that. That's just, yeah. Anyways, another one was to do a giveaway. At this time, giveaways are a possibility going forward. But for a 400 subscriber special, we aren't going to do one at this time. Sorry to disappoint. Also, if we do a giveaway, I wouldn't mind getting some suggestions down below. But unless you're going to donate something that's expensive and you want it given away on the channel, don't expect some high dollar thing to be given away. I'm sorry. That's just... I don't have the means to do that at this time, unless it's provided for specifically, hey, to give it away. And Kat, really, why? Every video. Come on, get out of there. Thank you. Thank you. So anyways, if you want to give away, I do have a few things going forward in mind to do giveaways. More details to come when that becomes available. But don't expect, a Edition XX or a Susvara or a HD 800 or an Abyss, something along those lines. Think smaller. Just a little. So anyways, so the thoughts for today's 400 subscriber special are coming from a friend of the channel and another YouTube reviewer, Farsal the Wizard. And he gave some good ideas. I'm not going to use all of them on his post, but one thing stood out, and it was interesting because I don't think I've really ever talked about it in this detail. And that is, what is my favorite gear and why, and how do I use it, or why do I use it? So that'll be the discussion for today. And I'm not going to give you a full tour of my gear at this time. There will be one in the future coming forward, probably in the next 6 or 8 weeks. as I have some gear out and about right now that's going to be coming back to me, and then I'll be able to have all of my my gear available to discuss as far as here's what I currently have. But as far as coming off the top of my head, I'll just mention it. So favorite gear and why do I use it? Well, let's start with DACs and amps. DACs and amps are very important, especially in the reviewer world. You have to have one that you believe is a good benchmark, a good line to compare all headphones with. And you need to also have, I believe, as a reviewer, things that can work with all sorts of different stuff. So, you know, most DACs and amps maybe play better with one headphone than another headphone. At least that's kind of my experience. There's very few that seem to work with everything. As far as my favorite standalone DAC, I only have two standalone DACs right now, and they are the Aune X1S and actually that's not even really a standalone because it has a amp, so toss that one out the window. The only standalone DAC that I have is the Geshelli Enog 2 Pro. And I use it all the time. I find that it's a very clean, clear amplifier. It is a little limited, or DAC, excuse me. It is a little limited in regards to bit rate and some of the abilities that it has. You know, it doesn't do DSD, doesn't do MQA, anything of those high-end, you know, flashy stuff. But what it does do is 24-192, and it has coaxial in and fiber optic in. It has balanced out and RCA out, and it has output impedance gain switch. And I find that it's a very clean, clear, detailed, and works with basically any amplifier that you put with it. It doesn't color the sound at all, and you get very nice dynamics with it. I find that it plays well with a solid state or a tube amp. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever, no complaints at any time. And the variable output impedances come in very handy, especially with various sensitivities when it comes to headphones and amplifiers. It also works well with its Arcal Pro amp. Works extremely well with that, and you can use it with all kinds of high-powered or high-demanding power headphones, HD 600s. I think that setup is, I think in the Geshelli office, when they were making the Enog 2 Pro and the Arcal Pro, they specifically said, we want it to work with the HD 600, and we want it to be the best-sounding HD 600 amp. Because in my opinion, that is the best setup that I've ever heard HD 600 on. Plain and simple. Has such great synergy, and I think it's a match made in heaven. So my standalone DAC of choice right now is the Geshelli Enog 2 Pro, and my computer thinks it wants to connect to Bluetooth, so that's what that beeping noise is. Let's see if we can turn it off here. Sorry about that. As far as integrated DACs and amps, I have two. I have the Aune X1S and also the Monoprice Monolith THX AAA 788 desktop headphone DAC amp, however they name that thing. It's like 50 bazillion words long. The 788. Of those two, my favorite one is the 788. That's should not be a shock whatsoever. I can't say enough about that DAC and amplifier. The DAC itself is very clean, clear, linear, and has a great benchmark setup for all sound. If you take just the DAC out of that and run it via RCA into any amp, you're not going to get any colorization whatsoever, and you're going to have amazing dynamics, and you're going to have amazing detail and clarity with a super dark background. The THX in it just comes out. I mean, you can tell a difference between something that doesn't have THX and something that does have THX. It just has this way of presenting things it's like you're in a dark black room and all the sounds are just coming around you and there's absolutely nothing blocking them. There's nothing else in that room other than that sound. The actual DACs or amps themselves, standalone amplifiers. The standalone amplifiers that I have are the Aune X7S, the Arkel Pro from Geshelli, the APPJ PA1502A tube amp, the Cavelli Liquid Carbon X, and the Cavelli Tube Hybrid. And I find that I enjoy all of them. But my main ones that I have been going to as of late, especially over the past 2 months, have been the Cavellis. And I find that they just have a way of presenting the sound in a sweet way and in a here's your music, and it's a very authoritative sound, but yet it's very pleasant and very romantic sounding. They just have a little kiss of musicality to it that takes just a little bit of edge off of sometimes that you can get from a solid state or from some DACs. Sometimes DACs can have a little bit of an edge, a little too clean, a little too pure, and they can sound a little edgy, a little dry. And the Cavellis tend to just give a little bit of a kiss of love to it and warms it up and makes them sound even better. The Aune is a good amplifier, and it is a powerful amplifier, and I love it to death. It works great with a lot of headphones, but it's a little too warm. Whereas the Cavellis are not as warm as the Aune. The Aune just has a little bit of a darker, warmer, thicker, romantic sound to it. And the Cavellis, the Liquid Carbon X and the CTH both have just a touch of it. And so that's the reason why I've transitioned over to liking the Cavellis better. The APPJ PA1502A tube amp is just outstanding. For a little itty bitty tube amp, that thing has power, has clarity, and when I changed the tubes on it and I went to the electroharmonic tubes, it opened it up, and I also realized that tube amps don't always have to have this bassy, warm, thick sound about them. They can have clarity, cleanness, just a touch of smoothness to them that almost sounds like a solid state amp. And I was like, man, I didn't know amps can have that. And so I really like the APPJ because I can change out the tubes and get different sounds. And also at the same time, I can put those electroharmonics in, and it just makes it sound clean, clear, dynamic, and just open. I love that little amp. Too bad it doesn't play with every single headphone. But the HD600 sounds really good on it, by the way. Now getting to the amplifier part of the DAC amp integrateds. Have the X1S from Aune, and I also have the Monolith THX AAA 788 desktop headphone DAC amp, whatever that title is, the 788. The X1S is a good integrated, especially when paired with the X7S. When paired with other amplifiers, especially amplifiers that are very clean and clear, like the JDS Labs L-Amp or the JDS Labs Atom, the Arkel Pro from Geshelli, it adds a warmth to the sound. It colors the sound, not in a bad way. It just adds a little bit of romanticism to it, a little musicality to it. And it sounds good, but at times it can sound a little muffled, a little pinched, a little in. You don't always get the great extension. You can mess around with the different filters on it. You can change various sounds from it with the filters, but at times you just want a little bit more. And so if you're looking for an amplifier that colors sound or a DAC that colors the sound, or that can do DDS and MQA versus the Enog 2 Pro, the Aune would be a good alternative. Plus you get the integrated amplifier. As far as the amplifier part of the X1S, it's a little bit weak. Of course, it's only single-ended, so it doesn't drive all headphones. And on more demanding headphones, they will sound muffled, weak, pinched, cluttered. But it sounds really good on lower powered required headphones and in-ears. It really works well with those. But again, it does color the sound. And I find that it works best with more brighter sounding headphones because it'll take that tendency away from them. It'll warm them up just a little bit. It doesn't compete at all with the 788. And it's THX. It's a lot more powerful. It's just a better amplifier overall, and it has balanced out and single-ended. And to me, the 788 is just superior when it comes to the Aune X1S integrated. There's just no comparison whatsoever. And that's the reason why that the Monolith THX AAA 788 is my benchmark DAC amp at the time of this video. It's just clean, clear, works both as a separate amplifier, as a separate DAC, and as an all-in-one. And I can't be more happier. Also, the 788 plays with all my headphones. It's not the most powerful for some of the Fostex stuff, but it plays extremely well with everything else. So if you need a little bit more power, you might want to use it outputting to another amplifier like I do, which is the Cavelli LCX or CTH. As far as I didn't really cover the CTH. I'm sorry. The CTH as a standalone, I really do like that amplifier a whole lot. It has plenty of power, and it has very good dynamics, clarity, and a cleanness to it, and adds just a little bit of musicality to the sound. And it works really well with the Focal Elex and the Sennheiser HD600s. Those two dynamics sound amazing on the CTH. So I think that covers all of the DACs and amps. Pretty sure. If I forgot something, I'm sorry. Let me know down in the description, or not in the description, down in the comments. All right, taking a break. from the gear for a moment. We'll get to the headphones in a moment. A lot of comments get made about my coffee. And, why do you drink coffee while you're doing a video? What got you started in that? What kind of coffee do you drink? What do you prefer? Do you put creamer in it? Do you put syrups in it? Anything of the sort. So let's take a break from gear for a moment and discuss coffee. When I first started my current job that I have 15 years ago, we were a big partner with Starbucks. And Starbucks was prominent in the office. And so I got addicted to coffee. Now, I always liked coffee, but I had never really experienced Starbucks. Growing up, it was more Folgers, Maxwell House, 8 o'clock. And what was the other one my mom used? What was it? It came in it was a black can with yellow. Anyways, those were the major ones that I had always tasted. And so when I got the opportunity to have Starbucks at the office, I was very addicted immediately. And of course, you could have it all day long. And so I got very addicted to Starbucks, and I really enjoyed it. And then got my wife addicted to it. And so we just started to go to Starbucks. And then after a while, I wanted to try other brands. I'm just that type. Hey, if this one tastes this good, what about all these others? And sometimes you got a good one, sometimes you didn't. And I learned that I'm more of a medium roast guy. I don't really care for the super darks or the super rich coffee. I am more of a medium. And I am somewhat of I like my coffee to be very romantic tasting. I like to be able to savor it and be able to taste it as it goes down. I don't like a burnt or a over roasted taste. I like it to be very smooth. And so as I started to venture into coffee, I started to notice that I didn't care for Starbucks as far as regular coffee. I liked Starbucks more for their mixed offerings, frappuccinos, cappuccinos, espresso type drinks, things like that. I really enjoy those. Caramel macchiatos are one of my go-tos for Starbucks. And I started to look at other companies. And so I've just I buy Starbucks for my wife because she likes to drink Starbucks house blend here at the house. And so that's what we have. But I also buy other things and try various things. Currently, right now, I am drinking a coffee from a store called Fresh Time. And this is the something cherry. I can't remember the name of it. But it's really good. It's got a little bit of a tint of dark cherry and a little bit of chocolate. And then it has a coffee aroma that just, when you drink it, you get a little bit of an aftertaste of cherry in your mouth that is smooth and has a little tartness to it. But it doesn't linger as a bitterness or as a aftertaste that is negative. It's a very positive aroma. And it also smells really good. And it works really well with a French press. I like it very much with French press. So anyways, coffee. I drink Starbucks, but mostly for their mixed stuff. And at home, if it's all that I have because I ran out of the good stuff, I'll drink my wife's house blend. There you go. Starbucks, coffee, done with that. Let's get back to business. Headphones. As most of you know, headphones have been kind of a interesting journey for me, starting out with Symphonized and House of Marley, and jumping up to Superlux, and then jumping up higher, monoprice M1060s and M560s, Hi-Fi-Man HE350s and HE4XX, 560, up to the Edition XX, Sennheiser HD 600s, Fostex T50 RPs, Mayflower Mod, the ZMF Classic, and Volcal Elex, Mr. Speaker's Aeon Flow Opens, and what else am I forgetting here? AKG K275s. That's about it. A couple of those I do not have anymore. The Mr. Speaker's Aeon Flow Opens have moved on. The monoprice M1060s and M560s have moved on. And for various reasons, not because I didn't care for them. I actually have liked every single headphone that I have purchased. There have been a few headphones that have been recommended at times through the years that I jumped on the hype train and was sold immediately because of the reviewer was just so excited about them, so pushing them and saying that I had to buy them, these are for you, these are for you. And when I purchased them, the first couple of weeks, maybe month or two, yeah, that hype was there. Yeah, you were excited. And then as I started to hone in my skills of how to listen to a headphone, I would know what to expect in a song. Hi, kitty. I realized that it was hype. It wasn't reality. And so I would start to venture somewhere else. And after getting stuck a few times with the hype train, I really shied away from jumping on that and making my own decisions based off of research and being able to learn how to somewhat look at frequency graph. I'm still not the greatest at explaining frequency graphs. I'm still not the expert in knowing exactly what I'm hearing or what I'm supposed to be hearing from a frequency graph. But being able to use it as a tool to say, I know I don't like that sound, or I know I will like that, or I think I will like that, and being able to grow it as a user and as a listener and as a purchaser. Hey, why? Are you hungry? Is that why you... He has this thing. If he is hungry, he will come and lick you. It's his way of saying, feed me, feed me. So bear with me a moment. He's licking. Interesting cat. So anyways, so after being on the hype train a little bit and having to mod some headphones to get them to be pleasurable to my ears, and then selling them and moving on, what are my favorites and why? The Sennheiser HD 600 is my ultimate favorite headphone. If I were to only be allowed one headphone, which would be a terrible day, the one I would reach and keep would be the Sennheiser HD 600. And the reason being is it is a headphone that to my ears sounds good on no matter what type of genre of music I'm listening to. Whether it be classic rock, classical orchestra, movie soundtrack, modern rock, country, metal, even rap, some dance, new age music. it just has this way of always sounding natural and portraying the music as how the producer wants it to sound. It just has this way of being smooth and yet energetic and portraying all of the nuances of the music. Bear with me one moment here. The other cat's going to steal his food. With him being a kitten right now, he's still eating kitten food. And our grown-up cats like to go and eat that kitten food. But you know what? That stuff's expensive. And they have their own food. So we have to keep it separated. Anyways, so the HD600 is my go-to headphone. It just has the mids that I like, because I do like a slightly forward mid, a little bit, not aggressive, but just forward and prominent mid section, and then treble that is clean, clear, but isn't aggressive and sibilant and sharp and going to rip my ears off. And then bass that is more linear. It still has impact and still has clarity and detail, but isn't thumping and overpowering the mix. So the HD600 just fits that mold for me perfectly. The other dynamic that I really, really, truly enjoy that is open is the Focal Elex. And the only thing that keeps that from being my go-to is it's a little bit on the bright side. And every now and then it can be a little fatiguing and can give you just that moment of, ooh, turn that down, or next song. And so I don't get that with the HD600. And so that's the reason why the 600 beats the Elex out for me. But the Elex does so many other things so well. Has really great details, has a soundstage where things just kind of flutter around your head and are just very immersive. It's a lot wider than the HD600 in the soundstage, and has a little bit better bass impact and thump and just a little bit more of that tone to it. But to me, it's that treble is not as smooth, isn't as relaxed like the HD600 is. Dynamic closed. Now, this is an area which I have not really a whole lot of experience. I have a few closebacks back in my day, but for the most part, I've never really enjoyed closeback sound. It's so Beyerdynamic Custom Studio, AKG K275, and the Marantz Pro MPH2s. What else do I got over here? Monoprice Retro. That's about it. I have had a few others, House of Marley's and Symphonized, but we won't throw those in there. As far as closebacks, I tend to like closebacks for being either a monitor, like studio monitor, so the AKG K275 or Beyerdynamic Custom Studio, or a fun headphone. Just give me that bass, baby. Just blast it out there. Just have it fun. And so fun-wise, the Monoprice Retro, after it's modified. Stock-wise, the thing is trash. I know that some people don't agree with me on that, but they were tinny, sounded like a cave, and just I didn't care for them whatsoever in the stock form. You can watch some of my videos if you want to see what I did to the Monoprice Retro. Changing pads and adding a bunch of dampening foams to them makes a huge difference and definitely brings the bass out. And the more power that you add to them, the more fun they get. So, yeah, have fun with those. Those definitely are basic, but they are not a clear phone. They are not a headphone that you would use for mixing or for editing of any kind. Wrong use for those. As far as for studio work, monitoring, editing, my go-to for the longest time were the Beyerdynamic Custom Studios, but they always had one issue for me, and that was the treble was really sharp. It was very fatiguing, and I loved the bass, and I was okay with the mids. They were a little too recessed for me, but they did give a good tonal picture of the song. The bass didn't overpower the mix at all, unless you used the tuner sliders, and then you could really get the bass thumping. But if you left it on the stock setting, the bass was where it should be as far as the recording goes, and it sounded very natural and balanced. The mids were not near as buried, but that treble was just so sharp. And then if you moved the sliders a little bit, you could get it so that the treble was a little bit more even, but it warmed up the sound too much and took away that true purpose for studio. So right now, my go-to in that area is the AKG K275, and they're comfortable. Not quite as comfortable as the Barodynamics. I mean, the Barodynamics were amazing comfort. It's just insane, those pads, and they were just big around your ears, and they were light. The AKGs have a little bit smaller ear cup on it, and have the suspension strap on it. They don't have the sliders like the Barodynamic has. And so they're still comfortable, but they're not as comfy as a Barodynamic. But what does it for me is that treble, even though it's clean, clear, and extended really well on the AKG, it's more controlled, more defined than the Barodynamic. It's not near as fatiguing. It's not overpowering in any sort of way. It's just where it should be, and it's pleasant. And also, the AKG K275s are very portable. They fold up, and you can just carry them, and you can use them at both for work and for pleasure. If you like a clean, clear, and more more balanced linear sound. And they drive very well off of a phone. Moving to planars. Planar is by far my favorite technology. It's when it comes to the different headphones. Now, I have tried electrostats only at Hi-Fi Meets and at Auxpona, and so I do not have any here. I do not own any. I have never owned any, so I can't compare any of those. But between Dynamics and Planar, I like Planar because of the speed and the resolutions that they can give, and just the clarity that they can do it. I like Planar. The details that they can provide is just craziness. My favorite Planar. Open, let's do open first, and that'll include the semi-open Fostex. We have the Hi-Fi HE4XX, the Hi-Fi HE560, the Edition XX. You noticing something here? I do like Hi-Fi. I like their house sound. And then we have the Fostex T50 RP Mayflower, and the yeah, that's it. As far as open, I really like the Edition XX. It just has this mellow tone about it, just this romantic, lush, relaxed way of presenting the sound, but giving you all the details and giving you the thump and the fun and the bass without losing anything in the mids. And the mids are right there. They're present. Gives you a nice sound stage. And it has this unique way of layering. You can just hear sounds coming from everywhere, and they sound big as they come in. And they fade in, they fade out. You don't lose them. They don't just drop. And it's very much all the way across the sound stage. You don't get the spaced out, sectioned out sound stage. It's all right there. It's like you're just sitting there. It's a very immersive sound, and I really, really enjoy the Edition XX. So they are by far my favorite planar open. But if I were to go to use it for studio work, more analytical listening, critical listening, I would have to go with the Fostex T50 RP. And you have to have a good, powerful amplifier for it. And right now I'm really missing that because my LCX is in for warranty repair. But when you power them correctly, you can get amazing sound, great details, great speed and resolution. Tonality is right spot on. And with the Mayflower mod, the mids come forward just a little bit, and you have this amazing balanced sound that, even though it's not as wide as the Edition XX, because it's semi-open, it has sounds going around you. It's not as immersive, but you get the soundstage clarity, and the detail that it brings is just incredible. With clarity and speed and precision, they are very precise. You know exactly where the sound's coming from. So the T50 RP Mark III, the Mayflower, would be if I were going to do studio work. The ZMF Classic is good in its own right, but it has a little bit too much on the fun factor. A little bit warmer in the mids and a really deep thumpy bass. And every now and then that treble can just be a little bit on the fatiguing side. I think that the Mayflower mod is just a little bit more smooth and a little bit more towards the studio side of things. Closed planar. I only have one, and that's the ZMF Classic. So I actually threw that in with the open, semi-opens, and that's my bad. I apologize. But go back about a minute and a half, listen to my thoughts on the ZMF Classic, and you'll know what I was going to say for closed planar. So that's my gear. Well, actually, no, it's not. Hold on. Forgetting. Got a few things up and over here. In-ears. In-ears are a mixed bag for me. I sometimes enjoy them, sometimes I don't. It depends on how they fit in my ear and how they seal. I have had a lot of in-ears that are major uncomfortable, way too big, way too clunky, or they insert super far in, things like that. So one that comes to mind, TRN V10s, did not care for those at all. Excuse me. There was the AKG Quad Beats, did not care for those whatsoever. They had this massive, huge bore, and it just like expanded your ear out. Oh, it was uncomfortable. Didn't matter what tip you put on those. It hurt my ears. And then they didn't stay in because I couldn't get them to fit properly, and so they were always falling out. And then you come across ones like the Advanced GT3, which are extremely comfortable. Fit very well in the ear, seal proper, do not have any issues with them falling out. And then you have the Ibasso IT01s that, again, they're like cut out for my ear. It's like the guys at Ibasso knew, okay, DBS Tech Talk is going to like these these in-ears, and this is his ear. It's like they molded my ear, which they didn't do, but it just fits. You have the TRN IM2s, which I'm going to be doing a review on. You have the RHA CL750. If you like a bright clinical sound, the RHA CL750 is for you. Which one would I pick if I was only allowed one? That's a good question. Comes down between two, but if I really had to pick one, I would take the Advanced Sound GT3. The Advanced GT3 can play as a musician's friend, as a studio in-ear, or it can be used as an everyday carry. Because of the filters that it uses, also you can change sound with using different cables. You can, if you put a copper cable on it, it mellows it out just a little bit, and it takes just that detail in those mids and adds a little bit of warmth to it. Just adds just a smidge of touch of musicality to it. Whereas if you use the silver cable, it has a little bit of a more detailed, analytical, clinical sound to it, and can be fatiguing to some that have sensitivity and treble. And so I think that it has its versatility in that regard. It can be used one way or the other. You could even go from the studio to home and use the same headphone, kind of like the AKG K275 is that way. If I had to choose something that was $100 or less, I would go with the iBosso IT01. It just has a neutrality about it, but yet at the same time has a fun factor. You still get the bass impact, you still get the details and the clarity and the thump that you want out of the bass, but yeah, it's not overpowering the mix. And then the mids are just slightly a little bit forward, and you have this full bodiness to them, and the treble is nice and clean, clear, and very well extended, and you get details and just air about them. As far as portables, amplifiers, DACs, and DAPs, my go-to portable amplifier is the FIO A5. It just has plenty of power. You can do balanced or not, or single-ended. Just has a ton of power to it. Works well with any in-ear. The bass boost is a little bit on the too much side, so I don't really use that unless you have an extremely cold sounding headphone or earphone. As far as DACs and amps, portables, don't really use those. Used to have the FIO Q1, and it worked all right. But again, it had that bass boost that was a little too much for my preference. As far as digital audio players or DAPs, Hi-Fi-Man Mega Mini, Cyan N3, and the Pioneer XDP30R. And the Mega Mini is amazing for the size that it is, and the ease of use is just incredible on that. Works well with any SD card, and you can just pick your music and play. And it has this nice warmer tone to it, has plenty of power, drives most in-ears, and smaller, lower powered over-ears. But my current favorite one is the Pioneer. You can do Wi-Fi, you can stream Tidal on it, Teaser, tune in radio. You can do all that kind of stuff. Plus, it has all the bells and whistles, Bluetooth, equalizers. It can be DAC in, DAC out. It has so many things on it. It just works great and has plenty of power. And it works balanced out. And so I just love the Pioneer. It's just a great little device. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, so a couple of things that I'm currently testing right now. I have back here, you can kind of see the boxes of the IFI. I have the XDSD and the iDSD Micro Black label. And I'm very thankful for IFI reaching out to me and sending those over. And I'm having fun playing with those. It's a learning process. There's a lot to those. For the size, IFI packs in so much incredible stuff. I mean, it's just insane. It's like they said, okay, this person wants this person wants this person wants this, I want this, and the big boss wants this, so let's make it happen. And they just cram it all in. And it works. I mean, it's not like, okay, this one was just thrown in on the side and we didn't care about it. Oh no, they put forth the effort in each and every thing that's on it. And nothing is taking precedent over another. You can tell that the same quality, same craftsmanship is put into each part of the product. I mean, IFI is very detailed in everything that they have on their products. It's just incredible. So be looking forward to those reviews in the future, but I got to learn them first, learn how to use them. And so that's one upcoming or a couple upcoming reviews. Another one is the TRN IM2s. Those are interesting little in-ears that I'm looking forward to playing around with some more. And then there's a few other things that may be coming into the channel. Again, subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell, and that way you'll know whenever a video is uploaded. Every now and then I'll do an unboxing if it's something extraordinary or that I wasn't expecting or that I'm excited about getting. And also I try to do videos a couple times a week. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. We shall see if that trend continues. I guess one thing I didn't mention is cables. And I'll do a specific video on cables. If that interests you, drop a comment down below if you want me to break down what cables I use and why, and whether or not I think that cables make a difference when it comes to headphones. I know I mentioned that a little bit with a couple of headphones, but hit me up in the comments. Let me know whether or not you think that would be something interesting for me to do a specific video on. Also, if there's something that you would like me to do a specific video on that I haven't done in the past, comparisons of any of the products listed, if I still have them in-house, I'll be glad to do it. If you want to send one in for review, feel free to hit me up. There's a email link down below. And let's have fun. Let's just continue enjoying the audio world together. It's just amazing and incredible how much available gear there is and how many differing opinions there are and how much everybody's ears hear differently. It's just crazy. But you know what? That's what makes this hobby fun. And I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you subscribers. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I know that it wasn't anything mega, super exciting, pictures all over the place, gear being thrown around and music tests and all this and that. But more of that. Actually, you know what? Another video going forward in the future, if you would like to, if you're interested in it, feel free to comment down below. If you want to know like what music I use to test songs and test try that again. If you would like to know what songs I use to test gear with, I would gladly do a video on that. If you're interested, I can explain why I listen to each and every one of the songs and what I'm looking for. And if you want to get a copy of my list, I can send you a link for it through Tidal, and let me know down below. I'll be glad to do a video on that in the future. So 400 subscribers has come and gone fast. Let's continue to grow the channel. I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and hopefully this video opened your minds, or not open your mind. Hold on. Hey, it's been 55 minutes long. This is a long video. hopefully this video clarifies some things as to what goes on up here in my brain. Maybe helps you understand why I use some gear and other gear. And do greatly appreciate each and every one of you enduring me for this long. And thank you for watching. And I look forward to continuing to grow this channel. 400 subscribers. Let's get to 500, then 1,000, and then beyond. Let's see what this channel can get to. And I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you for watching. This has been Dave with DBS Tech Talk. I will catch you on the next video.